Hi everyone, welcome to Physician in the Kitchen. I'm your host, Dr. Monique, a plant-based board-certified physician who you know as the Physician in the Kitchen. I help people discover, cook, and eat delicious plant-based foods because my mission is to fix America's health one plate at a time. Well, we are still celebrating February, American Heart Month, and if you checked out our last video, we saw we made a delicious beet and arugula salad. Well, today we've got some of those leftover beets, so I thought, why not use them to make brownies? That's right, we are making beet brownies today. This recipe is so good, you can't beat it. You guys know I love a good, corny food pun. So this recipe, again, comes together real quickly once you've got all your ingredients prepped. And if you're like me, you already had some leftover beets, so you don't even have to roast or make your beets. Or in a pinch, you can, of course, get some canned or jarred beets as well. Make sure, though, they're unsalted and they have no additives because you want just the beets. So before we get into that, be sure to do all the things. Click like, hit subscribe, hit share, ring the notification bell, and click the link in the description if you want to join our Patreon family. That's where all the cool kids hang out. We've got some behind the scenes stuff, some recipes, and some real good exclusives. So if you want to check that out, be sure to click the link in the description. So we are using beets again in this recipe, as I mentioned, and it's because beets are just good for your heart. Now, we are using them in a dessert, so that means that we are using some sugar. So don't say that I told you you can eat this whole pan of brownies in one sitting, because I'm not. It's still a dessert. You still want to use moderation. So it's good to have an option where you can use a vegetable in your dessert to make it just a little bit healthier. So enough talking. Let's get to cooking. Our all-star lineup of ingredients is as follows, starting with our wet ingredients, beets, of course, pureed, some coconut sugar, almond butter. You can also use coconut oil if you wanted to, vanilla flavoring, and maple sugar. Our dry ingredients are whole wheat flour, cocoa powder, salt, and baking powder. And then for a little bit of crunch, we've got some toasted walnuts. Okay, we're going to start by sifting together our dry ingredients. So we've got some flour here, and I'm just using the bowl that I'm going to mix everything in so it's all convenient. We've got our baking powder here, a little bit of salt, and our cocoa powder. Because what are brownies without cocoa? And I'm going to just use my little attachment here to blend this all together and sift out any lumps, particularly that might be in your flour or in your cocoa powder. And this also helps to make sure that you don't have like clumps of baking powder that did not get mixed in well. Okay, so there's our flour. Now we're going to add in our wet ingredients. Okay, guys, so now I'm going to mix together my wet ingredients. And technically, I should have done this in the big bowl first, but that's okay. I'm just going to use a smaller bowl and mix all this together. So I pureed these beets myself. So all that's in here are the beets that I had roasted and a little bit of water to help them soften up and get a little fudgy. Because when I looked at this, I thought, this would be great to add to brownie mix because it looks kind of fudgy. So if you're using canned or jarred beets, you might want to use a little bit of the liquid that comes with them when you are processing them in your food processor or high-speed blender. Okay, and then we're going to add in our vanilla. So you want to be sure when you serve this to your guests that you do let them know after they've tasted it, of course, and they can't get over how delicious they are. Once you hit them with the, oh, by the way, those are beets. So you want to be sure that you let them know that there are beets in here because beets go out the same way they come in. And so they will add a little bit of red coloring to your digestive tract. So you don't want your friends freaking out after they've eaten your delicious brownies. So just give them a heads up that, yeah, those are beets, and no, you're not bleeding to death. You've been warned. All right, so we're just mixing this all in. Our oven, by the way, is already preheated to 350. And I'm going to show you my neat brownie pan that I'm going to use because I love all things gadgets. So yes, I have a gadgety brownie pan. Go figure. So let's give this a quick taste. That is good. You can taste kind of the earthiness from the beets, but the sugar really balances it out. the sugar from the maple syrup and the coconut sugar. So they're not super sweet, but they don't taste like an entree either. All right, so now we're gonna just go ahead and fold in our wet ingredients to our flour. This is where being left-handed would come in handy. Should get my son to do this recipe. He's a lefty. And we're just gonna stir this all in here. So the batter's gonna be nice and thick. These will be fun to serve like for maybe Valentine's Day even, or just anytime you want a slightly different take on the classic brownie. So once we've got all our flour folded in, we're going to add our walnuts. You can of course do any type of nuts you like. Pecans would be good, or if you're not a nut fan, leave them out. All right, look how pretty that is. Now let's add in our walnuts. Start with half of it. Just make sure it's not too nutty. Who'd have thought beets and walnuts in a dessert? I've heard of them in a salad, but dessert? What? What are you talking about, lady? You've gone mad. Now we're going to put this in our brownie pan and bake them up. Okay, so I'm ready to put these into my brownie pan, and you guys know I love gadgets. So this, I found this years ago. I use it whenever I can, but of course you can just use a regular brownie pan, but this one actually portions them into nice equal portions for you. So I thought that was kind of cool. And this also kind of lifts out, so it makes cleaning much easier. And if you don't have this, you can of course use parchment paper to line the bottom of your pan. All right, let's go ahead and scrape this out. Now these have a chocolatey taste. You definitely taste the cocoa, but you do get the hints of the beet as well, with just a nice touch of sweetness. So these are going to be on the thinner side, which is good. The way the recipe is written, the brownies are about 150 calories each. Now, and they are loaded with carbs because you've got beets, you've got sugar, you've got maple syrup. So if you're watching carbs, you might want to just scroll past this recipe because this one has quite a few carbs in it per serving. So this recipe makes about 12 brownies. So these are going to be smaller brownies because my pan actually makes 18. So just remember, when you see the finished product, if you make the recipe as I've written it, your brownies will be bigger than what I'm making because I'm using smaller portions. Want them about this same in thickness. I am trying to eyeball this so that everybody gets roughly the same, or they'll just have to go back for seconds, I guess. And now I'm gonna put my little divider thingy here and press down. You want to just make sure that you are pressing down on it fully so that the sections can be even. These look a little naked to me, so I'm gonna just sprinkle a few walnuts on top. It's all about the garnish. There, that looks better. Get a little those good extra healthy fats and protein in your dessert. All right, now it's going in the oven. Doctor's orders. Beets are a nutrient-dense root vegetable packed with essential vitamins, minerals, and powerful plant compounds that offer numerous health benefits. Besides red, beets can also be purple, golden, and even striped. Let's look at some of the health benefits of beets. Support heart health. Beets are rich in nitrates, which help lower blood pressure by improving blood vessel function and circulation. They may reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke by enhancing oxygen flow and lowering inflammation throughout the body. Enhance athletic performance. The nitrate content in beets improves endurance by increasing oxygen delivery to muscles, boosting stamina and exercise efficiency. Beet juice is also used to improve athletic performance and recovery. Aid in digestion and gut health. Beets are an excellent source of fiber, which promotes healthy digestion, prevents constipation, and supports gut bacteria. The fiber content also aids in weight management by promoting the sense of fullness or satiety. Support brain health. Beets improve cognitive function by increasing blood flow to the brain, which may reduce the risk of dementia and age-related mental decline. Their anti-inflammatory properties may help protect against other neurodegenerative diseases, such as Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis. Help detoxify the body. Beets contain antioxidants that support liver detoxification by aiding in the elimination of toxins. They also reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. Regulate blood sugar levels. Despite being naturally sweet, beets have a low glycemic index, meaning they release sugar slowly into the bloodstream, preventing spikes in blood sugar after a meal. May have anti-cancer properties. The antioxidants in beets may help protect cells from cancer-causing damage and slow tumor growth. Some studies suggest beets can be beneficial in preventing colon, breast, and prostate cancer. The nutritional value of beets per 1 cup raw, or about 136 grams, is as follows: 58 calories, 13 grams of carbs, 3.8 grams of fiber, 2.2 grams of protein, and almost zero fat. They also contain small amounts of vitamin C, iron, magnesium, potassium, and manganese, and a decent amount of folate or vitamin B9. Beets are packed with essential nutrients and deliver a powerful boost of health benefits that can improve your heart health, brain function, and athletic performance. Try adding them to salads, smoothies, or roasting them for a delicious and nutritious boost. All right, so these are right out of the oven. Check to make sure they're done. Toothpick comes out pretty dry. So we're gonna let them cool in the pan for another few minutes, and then we're gonna give them a taste. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and remove our divider, and I'm gonna get a little spatula to lift them up. There we have our first brownie. We're gonna go ahead and plate these up and then give them a taste. So keep in mind, if you are using a smaller pan, you're gonna get thicker brownies. These are thin because I used a bigger pan. Okay, so here is our plate of beet brownies. You can garnish these if you want with some sea salt. You can also add a little bit of confectioner's sugar, or if you wanted to drizzle some melted dark chocolate on here, that would work as well. Okay, now it is time for my favorite part, the taste testing. But before I do that, one quick note about your prep. When you are measuring out your beets, you want to be sure you are using 1 cup of actually pureed beets instead of 1 cup of beets. Because if you use a cup of beets before you puree them, once you puree them, they actually shrink down and your proportions will be off. So in the recipe, make sure you are using a cup or however many batches you're making of pureed beets. Okay, just wanted to share that. So these are right out of the oven. They've cooled down for a little bit, but they are still very moist and somewhat warm. Look at the chunks of the walnuts on there. I just had to get into it. This is delicious. Now, if you're looking for a sweet brownie, this isn't it, but it's chocolatey, it's nutty from the walnuts, and the beets it's very mellow. It doesn't hit you in the face that it's beets. So I really like the way all of these ingredients came together. This is delicious. I can imagine this with a little bit of ice cream. Like I said, you can garnish it with a variety of things if you want to bring out the sweetness even more. Add a little bit of that confectioner's sugar or even sea salt. That salt will make it a little sweeter as well. In fact, let's go ahead and add a little sea salt to one and just see what it does. So, got a little sea salt here. And you can see I've added a little bit of salt, just a little bit. That is nice. It brings out the flavor, but it's not too salty. It just enhances the flavor. Oh my goodness, this is good. This will also be delicious with a nice, cold, tall glass of your favorite plant-based milk. Who says that plant-based people can't have our cake or brownies and eat them too? Because these are so fudgy, they will stay moist for several days. You can store them in an airtight container on your countertop, or if you want, put them in your fridge. And then before you eat them, put them in the microwave for a few seconds if you want to soften them up again. So if you make these, please be sure to tag me at Physician in the Kitchen. I'd love to see your version of this. Be sure to do all the things, click like, hit share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and join us over on the Patreon side for a lot of extra and added benefits. The description is in the link. So until next time, I'm Dr. Monique, Physician in the Kitchen, telling you to keep it 100, plant-based that is, eat well. Let me sprinkle a little salt on here and see. Good. Good. Oh my God, I gotta go. These are delicious.